And welcome back, everybody. I'm your host, the Diggity Diggity Dr. Bob Lee. Just throw your hands in the air, wave them around like you just don't care, like a Ginger Rogers and a Fred Astaire. Let me hear you say, oh yeah. I heard you. Hey, you know, on March the 18th, the conference will take place with a goal to educate you on toxins in the air, as well as what you can do and what can be done to create change. And joining us with more details, we have David Grant. We welcome you to the show.
Thank
of course,
you.
you've been here before.
Okay.
And we began speaking on things like this. Now, tell us a little bit about your background first before we get into the thick of it.
Well, I am the facilitator and chair of the New York CBTU CARET team. CBTU is Coalition of Black Trade Unionists, and the CARET means Community Action and Response Against Toxics, because that's what our program is about, the toxics, and that's in the air, that's food, that's in the foods that we may
Water
eat,
supply.
and also in the water supplies, yes. So as a facilitator there, our main goal is to bring the awareness to our communities on how these things are in our communities and what we can do to alleviate and try to alleviate them.
And what has the organization been doing to try to get rid of some of the toxins in our environment?
Well, one of the things that we did in Brooklyn, we visited and we went to this car smashing plant because we got complaints that the water was toxic in around that
PCBs,
community. Yes, in around that community because they use a lot of water when they're compressing the vehicles to wash them down, and they allow the water to get into the mainstream of the water supply in that community. Wow. So we were instrumental in coming in there and doing our research and talking to the city to make sure that that was corrected.
Well, you know, there's some things in place right now to roll back the hands of time to get rid of all the restrictions and along with the EPA, you know, that, you know, they look out for everything. What's in your food, what's in your water, what we're inhaling, but they want to roll that back out and just, hey, just go for it. Burn as much coal as you want, do this and do that, and just put everything in the air, let it go into the water.
Yes.
Why is that being done? I mean, they don't.
Well, the only thing that we are looking at in that regard is that the government seems to be looking for a way in which those that are in the higher, I would say, money-making business will be able to get away with a lot of rule violations that are in place now. And so we have already had papers signed from our president-elect, well, our president at the time, Trump, who has passed the zone to have a lot of the EPA's rules and regulations cut back. And this is not going to help us. For instance, we know of what happened in Flint, Michigan. Well, that did not stop. It's still an ongoing situation. And there are other places that the waters are contaminated in different cities, in Pennsylvania cities and other places. And so we continue to fight.
So the heck with all the restrictions. Let's go make some money. Let's go make this money. Throw all the restrictions out the window.
That's a part.
What are we doing to combat that?
Yes, that's a part of what's happening with the fight at this time through the EPA.
What can the American people do to combat that?
Well, what we can do, first of all, we would need to be aware. And after we are aware of that, then we will have to be a part of the fight. As you have heard on many different things, what we would need to do is to resist and to fight this on every level that we can.
Yeah. What other, I'm sure there are a number of organizations out there working together for a common cause. What teams can you put together that are out there that are, of course, the EPA is there.
Yes, EPA is there.
But they have their hands tied.
EPA is there, OSHA is there. Our own New York State environment is here, and there are other environmental justice groups throughout the city and the state that are working also to bring about environmental justice in all of these different
Yeah,
things.
because you see what's happening now. If you continue to pollute, the air's polluted, the water's polluted, the foods that you eat is not watched anymore. People get sick, and now you have to go get some drugs.
Yes.
So the pharmaceutical companies,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
and everything's on the New York Stock Exchange.
exactly. Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
What are we gonna do?
Yeah, as I stated, we will need to continue to resist. That's the main word we will need to put in our vocabulary in regards to this, is to resist these things. Because if we just succumb to them, they're not going to get better, and our health won't get better. They will get worse, because a lot of the toxics that are in the air, they help to control the way that we think. As far as certain toxics that are in low-income communities, there are research that's being going on now to see if there were certain toxics that was put in the Chicago communities where folks continue to want to harm one another. And so we are aware of this. There are different types of things that are and had been and can be put in the air in different places that will cause man to have different types of thoughts.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what are those things up there that you see in the sky? Those streamings, what do you call those trails? Chemical trails?
Yes. Well,
Can somebody be spraying something that comes down into your community?
Sure.
What
Yes.
can communities do to protect themselves?
Again, resist.
I mean, as far
but
as you see certain people wearing masks.
yes, yes. On that level, yes. On the ground, yes.
On the ground
sometime,
level, what can people do? The
yes.
individual.
Yes, on the ground level, yes, we do wear masks, and that's just one preventive way. We also, inform our folks to get their checkups with their physicians on a routine basis to see how your breathing and all of that stuff is.
So we're going to have a lot of asthma. We're going to have a lot of degenerative diseases.
Yes.
If we let this continue.
Yes.
Diabetes.
Yes.
Strokes, heart attacks, hypertension.
Right. And in most of the polluted areas in our country, you will see that in many of these areas, that's where an increase in crime has gone up.
Interesting.
Yes.
All right, so on the 18th, we're going to have something to expose or create the awareness about this.
Yes, on the 18th of this month, March 2017, we have a mini conference of which we're inviting folks to come, because at the mini conference we can be a little more explicit and talk a little more at depth in the things that some of the things that I'm speaking of right now. And so we're asking everyone, because there's a program in our program that we're doing right now, and it is to check all of the waters in the different boroughs, in every different boroughs, Boogie Down, Bronx, every place else, in all the boroughs. That's a part of our goal and program. We will be checking the water. This will be independent of what the city or the state is doing to make sure that our water is where it should be.
Doc, I'm going to call you Doc. Where can we go for more information?
Well, for more information, myself, I can be contacted at 917-969-7721. That's 917-969-7721.
717.
7721 969-7721. Yes. As far as the organization is concerned, CBTU.org. Yes,
All right.
and you will see our New York chapter there, and then you will be able to get in contact with us.
Well, thank you so much. Give him a big round of applause, everybody. Facilitator and chair, David Grant. I'm going to Dr. David Grant. I'm going to throw a doctor on there. C.B.T.U. Carrot team. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. And come back with more information. This is interesting. We need to know what's in our water and in the air and in the foods that we eat.
Yes.
Got to take a quick break right here, but coming up next, we'll check out a Women's History Month event you don't want to miss. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.